Welcome to What the Shuck. The goal of the What the Shuck podcast is to provide a platform to people with positive or influential ideas that have helped me to change my life or that may help you to change your life. So throughout this life, as you navigate towards goals, you're going to go through tribulations and all these crazy things that life will throw you. You're going to have to learn how to deal with them as you go towards your biggest goals. So with this, I would really like to put a spotlight on people who have made Kentucky such a unique and awesome place. So throughout my podcast, I will be interviewing people of all professions, arts, and honestly just anyone with a cool idea or story that should be heard. My newest guest right now, and the gentleman that will be joining me, is a trio of people from Morehead County, Kentucky, and they are brewers and the owners of Sawstone Brewing, and they've kind of been going through a crazy situation here lately, just coming up on a year as a brewing company as far as having the brick and mortar situation. They have been recently ceased and desist of their trademark and their name Sawstone Brewing. So I would really just like to bring them on and talk a little bit about what's going on, and also talk a little bit about craft beer and why it's so delicious and the influence and what it can do for not only just a Lexington size community, but also a community like Morehead. So without further ado, I'd just like to introduce the gentleman of Sawstone. If you would like to go around and just introduce yourselves.
Sure. My name is Derek Caskey. We're actually from Round County. We do love Morehead County. Blake is about to
Round County, sorry.
Blake is he's about to get married to a lady finally from Morehead County. Yeah. And so, my name is Derek Caskey, co-founder, brewer. We wear a lot of hats around here, and we started a brewery in August 2019. And here we are. We're approaching our 1 year mark being open, and trying to keep the doors open.
The best we can. My name is Nicholas Holland. We all wear about all the same hats, co-founder, brewer, manager, all that stuff.
Cleans toilets.
Drink beer. The good parts.
Beer drinker extraordinaire. And I'm from Round County. We're all from this town to some degree. Blake I think you were born in Virginia, is that right? But we met in third grade, so.
Yeah, so Nick and Derek were born and raised here. My name is Blake Nickel. I've been here since first grade, and so I consider myself born and raised here, but I'm a Virginia and West Virginia transplant.
But we've all known each other since we were little tots.
So for me, as I was explaining, I've kind of gotten really into craft beers and craft cocktails in Lexington. It was not a scene I was very familiar with being from Eastern Kentucky. It's not a thing where there's craft breweries, and definitely not like craft cocktail places. And you get a trash can at the Plaza. No offense to the Plaza, but it's like that's not a craft cocktail. And so for being exposed to that culture and how cool it was, and it was like it wasn't just about beer. It was about, for me, it was like what I thought was so cool about all the breweries I would go to was that they were all so connected to all their guests and all the people. And it wasn't really like you were coming there to be like a guest or a customer. It was like you're coming there to be with a friend. So when I found out that that Morehead was actually doing a brewery, I was really excited. So with this going on, just to touch a little bit on that, do you all kind of care to talk about that, like what it's going to do and how it's kind of affected you all right now, as far as with the issue with the name Sawstone, and also where you all got the name and why it's so ridiculous that it's even an issue?
So we, being from Morehead, all of us, there's not a lot of places to go and drink, and we had the wonderful opportunity of opening this place. And we opened it with a vision of creating a really relaxed environment, a family environment, really, to come and have a crafted pint of beer we make in-house. And to our name and our building, this place was constructed, our tap room and brew house, the entire building was constructed by J.F. Knapp in 1915. And it was made out of locally sourced Kentucky limestone, and it was hand sawed. And so this is where we get our name from, is Sawstone. And yeah, it's.
I think there's supposedly only two places in I don't know if it's the America or the world that has this type of sawed limestone.
Yeah.
And I think the other one's in Waco, Texas.
Somewhere in Texas, according to that article.
It's a super inefficient way to build a building.
Which I guess is why there's only two.
There's only a few, because you're literally pouring water as two folks on the end of a saw or sawing stone. And yeah, this is our place.
We felt like because of that, because of the uniqueness that it needed to kind of be showcased along with our name, I think a lot of not only breweries but beer styles, when they're kind of born, they oftentimes will take from the location or area that they're from. So we wanted to sort of showcase our building being so unique, and I think it also helps to kind of tie in with our mission and what we're trying to do here.
It played into what our mission was. Our goal when we were writing the business plan, we were coming up with all this, was to create. So one of our slogans is "Prohibition ruined everything." You talked earlier about how breweries are a lot more than just a place to go have a beer or buy beer or whatever. They're a place for everybody to get together. They're a place for a community. And before Prohibition, everything went to like a couple of big brewers out west or wherever. It used to be every town had a brewery, and it was like the local tavern. People go there to vote and everything. And we wanted to kind of emphasize that with everything we were doing. Our three flagships are pre-Prohibition ales. It's the Cream Ale, the Kentucky Common, and the California Common. But yeah, we wanted to just emphasize that and lean into that. So we have that historical view on how we came up with who we were going to be, and it tied really well into the building that we were going into. This is one of the oldest buildings in the town. So it all came together really well. That's where the name came from, because everything kind of lends itself to each other, it goes together.
And yeah, we back when we were home brewing, we enjoyed brewing session beers, light beers, and that lends itself well to the common styles that we have on tap and our flagship beers as well. And so, yeah, this is what we're doing here. We're just kind of highlighting history, and we would like for folks to come into this place. It was built in 1915, around the time of Prohibition, and experience a pre-Prohibition style of ale. Really, yeah, that's our mission.
And I completely resonate. I'm not sure that everybody else that's listening will understand the history, but so we do, at the place I work at, we do pre-Prohibition style cocktails. So we use like all house-made ingredients. Essentially the only thing we don't use that's in-house is the booze itself. But we do crazy infusions, we do all kinds of we have like a huge absinthe collection, because that was a huge important ingredient during that time. People were very unaware about. There's just like, what a lot of people don't know is how important the influence of alcohol was to history, American history, and Kentucky history. And one of the main reasons we were actually invited to be a state was because of the production of bourbon. And to even touch a little bit on your all's name, Sawstone, probably from limestone, I think is what you all just said. I mean, obviously that's a huge influence to our booze industry too, so it's almost like homage to that as well. We wouldn't have bourbon because the still water that we get from bourbon is a great product of the limestone water. I'm not really sure if that's something you all are doing here with that, but it's just like paying homage to Kentucky history and the booze industry. And it's really cool because a lot of people just assume, oh, you're drunk, like you're not probably an intelligent person. It's like, actually, like most of the most important documents ever written were like probably at least some point influenced by someone drinking some booze. Rather they were doing it while they were writing it or editing it while drunk, but it was just something was done to add some influence of booze.
Yeah.
And so for me, like I said, it was really cool that you all were like, I'm going to open up this place here in Kentucky, especially here in Morehead, because there's not a lot of cool places to go. And it just kind of revives and just breathes a fresh air of life into the culture of the area. Because then people are like, what kind of other idea can I bring to this? Because if they can bring brewery here and do well, then why can't we bring some other sort of industry here? And to just see stuff like the New Frontier, and then also App Harvest, and then you all, like, it's like, holy crap, like, well, it actually might be becoming cool. And it's really cool to see that, and it sucks that what's going on right now. So do you all care to touch a little bit about what's going on with Stone Brewing and how you all can be combative towards that, and how people can help you all to be combative towards that, other than coming in and just having your delicious beers?
Yeah, sure. I want to like back up a minute and touch on this place in Kentucky in general, Morehead in particular. We have so much talent here, and it's been hard for some reason for this town to kind of coalesce and bring all that talent into one place, or bring it into town, or be proud of it. And that's our goal. It's community based. You know, when we wrote our mission statement 3.5, 4 years ago almost, it had nothing to do with beer. It was about community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know everybody here, and we know their talents, and we should prop that up. That's the point. And we're lucky to be in Kentucky for the karst topography and the limestone and all in the history that we have, because we can highlight that stuff, and that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, on the stone topic, you know, that's we've only been met the entire time in preparation of opening this place, and now up until March, we've only been met with open arms and people trying to help. I mean, we have gotten so much help from all the local breweries regionally, and yeah, it's odd to have this sort of thing happen now. And yeah, we all know what's going on at the moment. You know, it's skinny around here. You know, at one point our revenue was down 80%. And we get hit with a cancellation order. So it's we see that as within the industry, because the industry is important and their message is important. And we see that within the industry as a bad actor. And so we will speak out against that, and we will always spearhead any of that shit. I mean, it's bullshit. So,
And that's what something I also wanted to ask was like, you all think it's completely like out of malicious? Like, are they being malicious, or is it like to just strictly legally protect the word stone so someone else doesn't eventually sue them for that? That's like what I wanted to know.
yeah, well,
It's kind of a weird situation.
It's kind of hard to speculate, and I don't think it's good for us to speculate.
True.
But so, what we see though as we see maybe corporate capitalism gone awry, and we'll point that out. And so
Because they're not in like revenue for the country, if I'm not mistaken. It's not, you all don't even distribute beers locally. So it's like, what the, like,
We made a little over 100 barrels of beer last year, and they're making somewhere between 400 and 500,000 a year.
So they're making 5,000 times the amount of beer that we had made last year, if you compare the years. And so, yeah, this is it's a weird thing that seems out of line. And like I said, this isn't the brewing community. This is not what we used to.
Mhm.
And I,
at least in Kentucky.
Right.
well,
Yeah.
and I think regionally too, man, and nationally, you see the response that we've gotten so far, and it's like everybody's pissed off, and it should be.
Mhm.
It's like this is an industry that helps each other, but it seems like when you have lawyers and retainer, those breweries don't tend to like to help anybody.
Yeah.
When you have more lawyers on retainer than we have staff total,
Yeah.
you know, what else are they gonna do?
Well, and I think it's also, you know, worth making note. I think Derek was kind of alluding to it, but you know, we're not the only ones that they're attacking,
Yeah.
or they're attempting a cancellation of trademark for. So you know, I think at first when we received the letter, it was very disheartening because in the past we've all three heard of Stone. We've had Stone beer. I don't think I've had a Stone beer that I didn't like. But having said that, we felt kind of personally attacked until we realized that we weren't the only ones.
Totally. And so, and it seems like, and I would like to make this point because I think it's important, that Firestone Walker, who is now owned by the fourth largest craft brewery in the world, they have now filed suit. And so, but they have continued to pick on these smaller breweries, but to what end, and to what gain, really? I mean, if you're standing on your podium and you're saying, we're craft beer, what does that mean to you? What does that actually mean to you? If that means that you're going to put out, if you look at the USPTO list, there's over 100 other companies that are under attack. So what does that mean to you? Does that mean you want to put out small breweries? Like, it's what it sounds like.
It does, yeah, totally. That's what it sounds like. It's what it looks like. It's like this can't be good publicity for Stone Brewing, and that's what makes it even worse. It's like, what's your goal? What's your intention? That's why I was asking if it was like, is it? Like, I feel like it's hard for me to believe that it's completely malicious because I'm like, it just doesn't seem like the community that you're talking about exactly. And it's like, then I'm like, was there some legal reason though that protecting from them being sued one day? It's just like, I don't, like, speculation for me, like strictly.
Well,
It's just like,
there's definitely a place for protecting your trademark. There's a place for reaching out, contesting. But once again, if there was some sort of similarity that they had seen from us, then it would have been a single litigation. It wouldn't be hundreds of litigations out there just because of quote unquote the word Stone. That's what I think just seems so out of place and out of line for somebody within the community. And to even extend on that, mentioning that community, it was happening before they put in the cancellation for us, and there has been some filed afterwards. But I just want to personally thank and let people know that have supported us, that it means the world to us. I mean, we've just kind of stumbled in this hole of trying to work through this thing, but without the support that we have been given so far, and I think that really did start solely from the state of Kentucky and having people that were willing to reach out and speak their voice for us. It means the world to us, and it's been very uplifting, and it goes to show, you just don't mess with people in Kentucky.
it's very true. We're made united for
That's right. Even though, to expand on that, you don't mess with the community.
Right.
So we've had so much response from this, and it's not because the reason is because the message is like you're bullying, and you're trying to own something that you need to back off of it. It's like I don't know. I'm getting worked up.
No, man. I mean, it's something you all are passionate about. It's something that you all have worked your asses off for. It's not. It goes beyond like the actual building being here right now. It's like you all have been putting in the work before the building was here. And so for someone to just, like I said, just come across from the other side of the country, that's what's so crazy about it. It's like you all are like. Obviously, I was listening to an interview with you, and you were talking about how like, you all have ambitions to eventually can and to distribute regionally, and then hopefully statewide, and what goes on from that. But it's like, right now we're not even there at all, and it's like, and you're giving us shit, and we're just we're just trying to literally express ourselves as artists. Honestly, it's like you're trying to make people be connected as a community through something that is pretty like evident in their history to unite people and to make them be, especially during such a crazy and insane time where people are like so combative and mean. And it's like, when I was here this weekend, I saw people like dancing and having a good time, and it's like, even if we're in a mask, it's like this booze that's going through our veins is going to make us be kind of nicer to people. Usually, some people not so much, but for the most cases that I know, you guys all three like seem like really nice guys, and it's just like, what is happening? And it's just.
I think to even extend what you're getting at, you know, it's we're not distributing right now. You know, obviously any business hopes to grow, and I think that in time we will grow in ways that feels comfortable for us. And more than anything, I think it's a principle, right? It's not fair that if we're not even in a position to be able to defend ourselves, it's not fair for us to back off and say, well, yeah, we'll never distribute outside of a certain area, or, you know, we'll never be competition for you. That's something that I don't think we're comfortable at this point in doing or saying. We may never grow further than the state of Kentucky, and if that's the case, I think all three of us are completely fine with that. We're very passionate about what we're doing here. You know, this is our livelihood, and we want to make sure that this thing that we've created grows the way it should organically, and it's not going to do that if we ever limit ourselves.
Yeah, I think being able to do things organically is important. Like it being a matter of principle that, you know, one of the top players in an industry shouldn't be out setting parameters for everybody else to be able to participate within that industry, right? It's just that doesn't feel right to me at all. Yeah.
And we stand, I think, with anyone else who's going through something like what we're experiencing right now. We are in support of anyone else out there. We're in support of the entire industry. We want everyone to play. Yeah.
Have you all had a chance to reach out to anybody else that's being affected by this?
Yeah, a little bit, and then we've had some folks reach out to us, and the idea is to kind of coalesce and bring a huge group together, everybody that's affected, and say this is not okay. And yeah, hopefully maybe see that in the next week or two.
It'd be cool if there was like a rock and like concert against Stone Brewer.
I think they're kind of in cahoots maybe with Metallica a little bit. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I think it's even worth mentioning too. I mean, Patrick Fannin was one of the guys. Well, early on when we first started, he reached out to us. He went to MSU, so he's Allen. He's at a junior grade brewery.
Okay.
He's a brewer there. Good friend of ours. I mean, he showed up pretty much day one, and it helped us in any way we needed it. And he's still with us, man. He's fucking fine. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, before we really wanted to go public with this, we had reached out to a few people to try and get sort of advice and make sure that we didn't proceed in a way that could harm us, and make sure that what we were putting out there wasn't, you know, out of context or anything. And honestly, I think we were hoping that we would be able to settle this thing up pretty quickly, and it would just kind of go under the radar and move on. And unfortunately, that's not the case. I mean, here we are in July. Just 1 month later, we just want to make beer, man. Keep the doors open. Like that's. We were very content until the bully knocked on the door. So, yeah.
Well, we've obviously talked about some negative stuff going on right now, but what made you all really want to get into craft brewing, and like what was the like first moment you really had something and you were like, because I know you were saying it was never about money, it was never even really about craft beer, it was literally about just having an opportunity to have a platform or something that will allow the community to come together in some way, and it just happens to be booze. And so like how were you all drawn to this particular industry, and how important do you all think it is to United Communities?
Well, I would say that we definitely do have a passion for very severe passion for craft beer, and that's how it all got started. The actual vision for the business was just like very inclusive. It's like community and everything all together. But we personally absolutely love craft beer, and that's how it all started. Derek and I lived in Lexington whenever West 6 and Country Boy opened, and we've been going there since basically they opened. and just enjoying craft beer up in Lexington. And because around here you couldn't really get it very much, like at all. So yeah, so yeah, that's how we got started with our interest in it. And then when we all kind of moved back here, we started home brewing together, and just it turned into a more regular thing, just like playing off each other, like learning new styles and just having fun together, talking about it. We all three love learning new stuff, so we just all like went head first into it because we just loved it so much. And then it turned into the first Sunday of every month turned into brew day. We would go, all three of us would bring our homebrew setups, set them right next to each other. We'd all boil right there together. And then we learned we had to stagger that because we couldn't all use the water hose at the same time. But so we were all right there beside each other brewing, and that became such a thing with people in the community. Even then, that's how we knew it would be such a big part of it. Even then, people from up the road that would see us, or just our friends from different neighborhoods, would all come by and talk to us about the beers we're brewing, have the beers that we brewed last month, and just enjoy what we were all doing together. It was a lot of fun, and we just kind of went to the next step from there.
It became an obsession with the community and with creating something. And so, since day one when we were brewing shitty beer in Blake's garage, we had the entire community come in, and it's like, hey, you guys want some beer? Listen to the taste beer. The next one's gonna taste better. It was free beer, and so.
Those are the people I think that are probably the worst to ask, what do you think about the beer? Because from their perspective, it's like, well, you just gave me a free beer, so it's excellent.
It's 100% great on Rotten Tomatoes.
Making beer.
Yeah. I don't care what it tastes like anymore, as long as I get drunk.
So yeah, it did become an obsession. It's like really start making better beer, and then dialing it in to the community, because we saw that everybody was interested. It's like, wow, it's like these people want this thing. And then yeah, once we opened this place, we pushed it even further, because like I said before, there's so much talent here. All the art hanging on the wall is local, and all the music that we get in here is local. And currently, I believe almost every guest half we have is a local beer. We're showcasing this place, Kentucky, and what we have to offer, because we have a lot to offer. And yeah, that's our mission, that's our goal, and always be our goal.
I think it'd even be worth mentioning, unless you guys mentioned it earlier, I had to run downstairs, I've got a beer going right now, but the three main styles are flagships. Did you guys mention those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pre-prohibition styles, and yeah, that's what we're up to.
Well, what would you say, each three of you, what would you say your favorite style beer is? I know it's hard to kind of answer that, but I know I was saying earlier, mine is sour, so I really, really like sour beers. I like way more like a fruity, kind of like tropical, like a ghost style, or like a Midwest fruit tart for myself. But what would you say your all's favorite is?
I would say my favorite is whichever one I'm working on currently. I just brewed an amber that I'm really happy about, and the one before that was the old in the way. It's just whichever one that I'm working on now. I love getting into a new style that I maybe haven't brewed before, and just making it my own, and it's just a lot of fun to explore.
Nick will plunge into the style, and that's all he's talking about. What do you think, Blake?
Yeah, I'll first mention, and this is, I'm a beer nerd, so I gotta throw this little side note out there, but you mentioned loving sours. I personally feel like that, when you get into brewing beer, there's this whole world out there, and you learn that, and once you've kind of gotten bored with that, you dive into sour.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different world, and I've yet to dive into that. Derek's actually kind of got into it a bit, and he's made some really, really good sours. But I would say right now, it being hot outside, Pilsner's kind of hit the spot.
Got the thrills for the pills.
Yeah, right now I'm still homebrewing, and I been on bacteria for 7 months, and so once it hits the 9-month mark, that's when it's like, that's it.
Mhm.
So I got a few more months, and we'll, yeah, that's what I'm into right now. The dark side. Right.
So with you all brewing, you all obviously been doing it for a few years, but in the year that you all have actually been in this facility, I'm sure you all obviously the technology vastly that you're using. Have you seen like a pretty big improvement in how you craft beer and how you make it? And is it just crazy to literally be like, wow, I can't believe this sour Kentucky Common tasted 1 year ago versus how it tastes today?
So I think, especially with our flagship beers, we had those dialed in long before we opened this place. In our system, we have a 3-barrel system. It is like a big homebrew. You might as well have like a stainless steel bucket that can hold 100 gallons.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
It's a 3-barrel stainless steel bucket.
Expensive.
Fire under it.
It's very expensive.
Expensive, big.
So, I mean, as far, but you know, there's some things as far as efficiencies and hop utilization, like that stuff increases, and it's cool to see, and you adjust. But the beers that we have on now, like I said, especially our flagships, those beers were honed long before. We've won gold medals for those beers a few times over. We knew they were good.
Under competition.
Yeah, not nationally.
Yeah.
That's the
Home competitions. So yeah, we knew our way around it, and then yeah, with the new system, we were, you know, with any new system, whether it's homebrew or commercial, you have to adjust. You have to figure out what you're working with. Yeah.
It's helped us to tighten up though. I think our consistency has gone up tremendously. And even now, I mean, it becomes more nuanced, but we've really dialed in, I think, a lot. Over the last, say, 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say consistency and process are just as important in terms of like running a successful brewery as like, you know, creativity and innovation. I would say like if you don't put out consistently good beer, you will suffer from that. But like, yeah, it's an important piece of it.
Totally.
Something that we've worked toward a lot in the last year.
We're not making beer in the garage anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like if you come in and you drink a cream ale, it should taste the same as the last time.
And I found that that's really important because there was one time that I went to one of my favorite breweries and I got a sour beer and I was like, I don't want to say it in front of people, but this tastes different.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? And the person tasted it and it was like, that was just my beer. So they tasted it and they're like, dude, there's something wrong with this. And I was like, and that's obviously something that's going to happen from time to time, but I was just, they were just like, but that was, for me, that was a testament to how consistent they had been because I was like, this tastes different. And the other times it tasted so on point every single time and I was just like, holy crap, like.
And it also goes to show how the community is, you know, that you weren't ready to go and throw up arms and be like, oh, you know, screw this place.
Yeah.
You wanted to be like, hey guys, we're on the same team here.
Right.
Something's off. I just want to let you know before it, you know.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I don't want a Yelp review on their thing like, they don't know how to make this particular beer. And I'm like, oh man, yeah they do. Like it's really good every time. I just got it one time and it's bad. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of this larger community that we're talking about. You know, you help each other out. You don't yell and scream and up in arms about something or one experience.
We all start with the same passion. And our hopes are that people, you know, keep that, continue that passion throughout their, you know, their journey, wherever you're at.
I'm very rarely in Eastern Kentucky, but every single time that I've been here, I like make it a point to come see like what's going on over here. So actually, I was here like 3 weeks ago, and you all were like, "Oh, we're not open again until Saturday." I'm like, no. So, but I came in this past weekend and was here twice. So I definitely
Thanks.
love what you all are doing. It's awesome work, and it's just like you all said, it's such an opportunity for the community to be connected in ways of artistry that you don't normally associate. And you know, like you said, you put local people play music, you have local art on the walls, you're drinking local beer, and it's just like when the community is together like that, and everybody kind of has like a way to contribute, it really makes everybody be a lot more cohesive and more close. And And so obviously I mean, you guys are three gentlemen who are and have been through tough times, but obviously it's working out now and times are good, but it's like, all right, now maybe times are tough again. So like, what can you all say to people as far as for how they can help you all right now? And then we'll probably get out of here, but and kind of close with one more positive thing. But how can people help you all right now, especially to just, I know you said the community's been really, really important to this, and everybody's really reached out for like, how can they continue to help?
Yeah, so we can start with the GoFundMe. We've pretty much reached our goal that we set arbitrarily, but like I said, there are hundreds of other people who need help, and so we'll spearhead this thing and we'll pass it on down the line if that's what it calls for. Hopefully it doesn't. We also just recently got our website up and running, and we have a store going there. If you want to buy some merch, that would be cool. We are now open 7 days a week. We've got plenty of outside seating, and there's some limitations on the inside seating.
So you know, some of our hours too.
Yeah, so Monday through Thursday we're open from 2 to 10. Friday, Saturday we're open from noon to midnight, and Sunday we're open from noon to 8.
You're also, you know, one way to kind of just keep up with us and what we're doing is we have a Facebook page, Sawstone Brewing Co. And we also have an Instagram with the same name. And then our website is www.sawstonebrewing.co.
All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate it so much. I'm sorry about what's going on, but I love what you all are doing here, and that's why I wanted to help you all if I can in any way. It is incredible that there is an opportunity for people to come together and just to be so united. And when it's something that's really, really cool, and like you all were saying, you've like literally put like sweat into this, and it's just like people don't really understand how much it takes to make like a craft drink, and there's just a level of appreciation and just consistency that we were just talking about that you have to be and keep up. So I just really appreciate what you all are doing. I'll be posting this on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, and on SoundCloud. Any other information you all want to give me, you can just send me. But thank you all so very much. Make sure you all come check out Sawstone Brewing here in Morehead, Kentucky. And thank you all for listening to the Love the Shuck podcast. I love you all so much. Don't forget to live the dream. Sweet. Thank you all.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.